everyone, I'm here at the Bible reading. I hope you're having a good day. Let's see. Do you want to read? Behave. No. It's making faces at me again.
No.
Yes, you are.
No.
Come in front of the camera view. Make faces. Come on. That's hands. Let's go over our prayer requests.
No.
Sure must be naughty today.
No.
Please keep the following people in prayer. Luke Boggs and his mom Bridget. Let's see, Sherm, even though he's being ornery today. Rhonda Karshner, Cindy and Jim, Jimmy Myers, Layla and her son Emil, Abby and Liam, Ray and Donna Dunlap, Joyce Light. The weather's keeping Joyce in again, so I know she won't be coming today because it's been raining. Judy Thompson, Dora Harper, Bonnie Jean, Bonnie Jean's dad, Bonnie Jean's sister-in-law Lori, Bonnie Jean's cat Misty that she returns home, Elizabeth Jeffries and her grandson Dominic. Hannah Denny is doing good now. I guess she's had one other episode like that at school, but after that, she's doing okay for now. And please keep in prayer Garnet and Norma Boyer. I've seen Norma walk down the sidewalk with her grandson, so she is definitely out of the hospital. And seems like still maybe a little weak. And please keep my youngest sister, Melly Stanley, in your prayers. She has relapsed and is back on drugs again. Meth was the drug of choice last time, I guess. I don't know what's going to happen with the kids. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know she was on meth before. I don't know if she's on that again or taking something else. But this is very sad because she was doing really well. And just got the kids back not too long ago. I hate it when, kids have to go through stuff like this. Or any kind of drama. They should be able to just have a happy childhood, So today we're going to be reading John chapter 11, verses 1 through 54. So John's the longest reading today. Psalm 117, that's a short psalm. And Proverbs chapter 15, verses 22 and 23. My mouth is really dry already. Okay. We're going to start with the death of Lazarus. Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha, followers of Jesus. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, "Lord, the one you love is sick." When he heard this, Jesus said, "This sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it." Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. They were, oh, I'm sorry, I knocked the camera. They're always, together, like Jesus' other disciples are with him all the time. Martha and Mary were followers of Jesus, and they were with him a lot. Lazarus as well. So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. And then he said to his disciples, "Let us go back to Judea." "But Rabbi," they said, "a short while ago the Jews tried to stone you, and yet you are going back?" Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by the world's light. It is when a person walks at night that they stumble, for they have no light. That's why bad things always happen, after dark, mostly. Like break-ins and stuff like that. Like I said, mostly. They're getting pretty brave now. Trying to break in during the daylight. It's ridiculous. After he had said this, he went on to tell them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up." His disciples replied, "Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better." Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. So, they're not getting what Jesus is meaning, like most of the time. So then he told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. And for your sake, I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him." Then Thomas, also known as Didymus, said to the rest of the disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus has already been dead in the tomb for 4 days. And he's already started to decompose at that point and smell. Okay? 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she replied. "I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. "The teacher is here," she said, "and is asking for you." When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house, comforting her, noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you would have been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see," they replied. Jesus wept. That's the shortest verse in the Bible, if you didn't know that. The shortest verse in the Bible. That's the shortest verse, if you didn't know it, which was John chapter 11, verse 35. So, if somebody asks you what the shortest verse in the Bible is, that is, Jesus wept. John 11:35. When the Jews said, "See how he loved him," when they see Jesus weep, but some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days." Then Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I know you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me. When he said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, take off the grave clothes and let him go. Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary and had seen what Jesus did believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them about what Jesus had done. And you'd think they would be like, maybe this is the Son of God. You know, we got all these witnesses to what he just done, bringing somebody back to life and all the other miracles he performed. They still want to get rid of him. Because like I said before, they're wanting to do it because they want the people to listen to them. They want to be in charge, like gods on this earth, for people to worship and do as they say. They don't want Jesus interfering or anybody else interfering with, you know, what they got going on. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin. But you know that's never good. What are we accomplishing, they asked. Here is this man performing many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. And then the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our nation. Don't they think Jesus could stop that? You know he could have, right? Then one of them, named Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, spoke up. You know nothing at all. You do not realize that it is better for you that one man die for the people than the whole nation to perish. So he's saying, let's kill Jesus. Let's get him out of here. And we can have things back to the way it was. He did not say this on his own, but as a high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation, and not only for the nation, but also for the scattered children of God, to bring them together and make them one. So from that day on, they plotted to take his life. But look how many other times they did. How many times is it said already that they picked up stones to stone him, but he, got away. All the time. They never do nothing good or say nothing good to Jesus. Therefore, Jesus no longer moved about publicly among the people of Judea. Instead, he withdrew to a region near the wilderness, to a village called Ephraim, where he stayed with his disciples, because his hour had not yet come. And that is where we're stopping with John today. And now our Psalm 117, it has 2 verses. A very short psalm, compared to Psalm 119, right? That seems to go on and on and on for days. Praise the Lord, all you nations. Extol him, all you peoples. For great is his love toward us, and his faithfulness of the Lord endures forever. Praise the Lord. Do you mind if I do this over?
It's fine. You're doing good.
Okay, and that was our Psalm 117. And Proverbs chapter 15, verses 22 and 23. Proverbs 15:22. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Proverbs 15:23. A person finds joy in giving an apt reply, and how good is a timely word. Amen. All right, guys, that was our Bible reading for today. I hope it touched your hearts. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye, guys. God bless. I really want to do this.
That's nothing.